What is the types of a Singapore company? We have a variety types of business organizations that may be registered in Singapore. Let's take a look at the different business structures types in Singapore. The first type will be the sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is an idea for small businesses. It's also known as a sole trader or a one-man show according to a layman. It's a type of a business entity that is owned and run by an individual and in which there's no legal distinctions between the individuals and the business. The owner is entitled to all the profits and losses. Is also personally liable for any obligations or debts incurred by the business. Self-employed persons must top up their MediSave account in Singapore before they register new business names. The second type will be the partnership. There are three different of partnership in Singapore. First one is a general partnership, which is an alternative for small businesses with more than one owner, make up of 2 to 20 persons. It's not a separate legal entity from the business owner. The partner are personally liable for all the debts and losses of the partnership. It can sue or be sued in the partner names. Second one is a limited partnership. We call it LP. It's a partnership consisting of a minimum of 2 partners with at least one general partner and one limited partner. A LP does not have a separate legal entity from the partner. It cannot sue or be sued or own property in its own name. For example, a fund and an investment company. Third one is a limited liability partnership. We call it LLP. It gives the owner the flexibilities of operating as a partnership while having a separate legal identity like a private limited company. This means that the LLP is seen as a body corporate and has a legal personality separated from its partner. The LLP has a perpetual succession, which means that any change in the partner of an LLP will not affect its existence right or liability. For example, law firm and audit firms. Alright, the third type will be the local company. It's the most common type of company in Singapore. A local company is the most favorable business structures for Singapore business formations and suitable for foreign investor to set up in Singapore. The company needs a director, shareholder, company secretary as a basic structure. It's a separate legal entity from the business owner. The company can buy property in its own name. Since the company is a separate legal entity from the business owner, which will keep the shareholder out of the court of law. The company has a perpetual assistant. It's not tied to any particular member or shareholder. The shareholders are not responsible for the loss or debt incurred by the company. Singapore allows 100% foreign ownership. Transfer ownership is easy. You can audit exemptions if the criteria is met. Means that there's no audit requirements. In general, to set up a local company has more credibility than a sole proprietor or a partnership in the eyes of an investor, banks, financial institutions, suppliers, or customers. The perspectives matter when the local company goes to the market for securing loans for the expansion will be easier as well. A Singapore local company is considered as a tax residence. It gets access to all the tax benefits and the incentive schemes for the local entity, which go along to it reducing its operating costs and tax payable. The fourth type of the company can be set up a foreign company as a branch in Singapore. Foreign company is a company, society, corporations, associations, or any other body formed outside of Singapore. Under the foreign law, which allows the company to be incorporated, it's not a separate entity, and the company will be able to hold the property. A foreign company can set up a branch office in Singapore. A foreign company is required to engage the services of a registered filing agent, like us, Korchina, to submit an online application for setting up a branch office. The last type of company will be the non-trading representative office. This is a form of a foreign ad hoc company which only operates for a short term for example, like 1 to 2 years, is usually to start exploring the business venture, market survey, or trade lead in Singapore. The goal is always to test the water before establishing the company. Please take note that a representative office will not allow to do any business-related activity, but only a research purpose, and to open a bank account will be difficult as well. I hope so far my information is clear. Now I would like to continue with the comparison chart between the local company and foreign branch. Local company will be suitable for overseas investor to explore the business opportunity in Singapore. As for the branch, it will be more suitable for overseas headquarters to create a brand awareness in Singapore or having a contract signed in Singapore and require a branch to look after the project. The liability for local company is separate legal entities, distinct from the parent company, and the liability is limited to subsidiary. The liability for branch is not a separate legal entity, but an extension of parent's company. The allowed activities for local company can be the same or different from the parent company. The allowed activity for branch must be the same as the parent's company. The tax for the local company will be taxed as a Singapore resident entity. Local tax benefits are available. The tax for the branch will be the tax as a non-resident entity. Local tax benefits are not available. The local company must appoint one local director and at least one local resident secretary. The branch must appoint at least one local authorized representative.